All right, everybody, thank you for hopping on. I really appreciate it. We're going to start having some monthly guest speakers, especially as I welcome Baby 4, April, May, June, just to give you guys a glimpse into how other top coaches on Meg's team run their business, post to their niche like we're going to talk about tonight. Just some really good quality leaders that are more on your level, that you guys can relate with, that you can learn from and implement. I think it's really important to learn from other coaches other than myself and our team, because we tend to do things very similar. And if we can hear the same thing but in a different perspective from someone with a different kind of niche like Amber has, it's very helpful. It kind of gets our creative juices flowing, like we were talking about a couple weeks ago, that feel like they're just a little dead, right? So hopefully this will be some inspiration for you, and you can learn a tip or two, have a takeaway, and just be able to start implementing something right away. So grab a pen, grab some paper, make sure that we're listening and writing down as Amber tells us her story a little bit, and then how she posts to her niche. So Amber is a lifetime diamond. She joined Meg's team in November of 2014. She started seriously coaching about a year and a half ago. She's newly married, and she has a little girl named Kennedy. She works with an audience with PCOS and moms. And so, like I said, it's a little bit more specific than some of us have, just moms, but then it's also a little bit different. So it'll be nice to hear how she talks to that audience using our programs, products, and supplements. She lost 40 pounds of pregnancy weight with the 21-day fixed supportive force, and she is so involved and engaged with Meg's groups, and is always obviously willing to lend a helping hand and share what's working for her and her coaching business. So Amber, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, and then you can go ahead and take it away. It'll give us a 10-minute reminder when time is up, or give us a 10-minute reminder, and then it'll be up. Okay?
Sounds good. First off, thank you, Brittany, for the great introduction. I am new to doing, these types of training, so give me some grace. This is practice for me too. And of course, all of you will get to the point where this is kind of something that you'll be doing and practicing with. So anyway, I hope you can learn something from the way that I lead my team and kind of my experience. I want to apologize. I have a cold, so I have some sniffles. So first off, I think it might be helpful to learn a little bit about my backstory. So I started as a coach. Before I even started, I was an assistant for Meg. She hired me just to basically help with her Instagram. I was a college student. I honestly barely had an Instagram, so I didn't know how to attract people to my market. I didn't know how to do any kind of attraction marketing. I didn't know how to talk to people the right way. I started at ground zero. So these are all things I implemented that I didn't know before I started as a coach, okay? So they're all things that you can implement as well. So I'm going to kind of break it down into 3 parts. One is finding your niche. You really need to do that before you delve into, actually going on social media and finding people. The second part's going to be, where to find people. And the third part's going to be how to talk to those people. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to identify your target audience. We've all heard that word, but how specific have you really got? So I don't only work with, specifically PCOS women, but I've even broke it down further. I work with PCOS women who are, 1, willing to change their mindset. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. So it's a medical condition, and with any medical condition, not everyone's willing to, work on their health, or they're not all in the right place. And so I've really focused my mindset into the women who are already starting to try to implement things. They're at least open to the idea, or open to the idea with a little bit of nudging. And then the other part of my niche is moms. And I've really only started working with this audience in the last year or so. But what I really want you to do is think about your audience and break it down to, the kind of thing that they like to do during their days. the way they spend their time, the way that their family is oriented. Did they adopt? You know, like get really, really specific on your audience, okay? So to give you an example, part of the audience I'm working with right now is moms, and I've broken it down to moms who love to travel, love modern style and colors. They love to be outdoors. The outdoors just refreshes them. They like to read in their spare time, even though, when the kid's napping or, what have you, they like to read. And they do a lot of like online shopping or online window shopping, so to speak. And so once you have that target audience defined, and this is just something that you're naturally going to come upon, right? You know who you kind of vibe with. And one thing that really got me going in my business is kind of the phrase, who would you want to go and spend a retreat with? If you had a team retreat, who would you want to be there? What kind of people would energize you? Who would be your best friends kind of thing? Like, what would they look like? And so really break it down and think about what kind of person would you want to be a friend with? That's who you want to do your challenge groups with. That's who you want to build your team with, not just anybody, right? You want to make this a good experience. You want to, sit down to work and be energized because you're working with the right people. And so that all comes down to really narrowing in on your niche. Now, for me, I'm going to give you an example. I work a lot on Instagram. And so this breaks down into now kind of finding the people that you want to work with. So for me, I work a lot with the moms who like the modern style and colors, right? And so a couple of the pages I have gone to are Land of Nod. It's basically a children's room decor, and they have some clothing and stuff like that. But it's a very more high-end, stylish kind of company, something I jive with. Wild Bird, they do baby slings, like baby carriers, baby slings, and they're another more higher-end, stylish company. And then Dwell in Slumber, which is a company that they have wear around the house type clothing for moms mostly. And the reason I target these is not because I'm trying to target people with a bunch of money, but the reason I do this is because I work best with people that believe in abundance. When you're working with people that want to start coaching, they need to believe in abundance. They need to have that abundance mindset where anything is possible, and investing in your family, your life, is a good thing. Because that's what we're doing, right? We're helping them invest in themselves through a health and fitness product. And so that's kind of what my recent niche has been, is finding these women, these moms, who believe in abundance and who believe in investing in themselves. On Instagram, that looks like Land of Nod, Wild Bird, Dwell in Slumber, these higher end companies where you buy a sling and then you have that sling for the next 6 months, right? You're investing in yourself, you're investing in your family. And so that's the kind of thing that has driven with me. So that might take a little bit of finding. So let's say that, you're a new mom and you are targeting moms. You're going to search #new-mom, and you're going to look at some of the top posts. Now, those top posts are probably going to be from companies that are doing quite well on Instagram, right? So you're going to follow those pages and you're going to go to their followers. Okay, so let's say we're talking about Costco. You're going to go to the followers of Costco. Those are going to be individual people who love shopping at Costco. So if you're a Costco mom, you're a Costco person, they're going to be your audience, right? Now, let's say that you've gone through Costco and you're looking at all these people, and you're following them and you're engaging with them and you're having these conversations, and let's say you ran out of all the people on Costco. Okay, that's not going to happen, but for smaller brands, it might, right? Maybe that brand only has a couple thousand followers, and you've got through them and you've kind of followed the people you want to follow. You're going to go to who they are following. So let's say you're following Costco and you've connected with some people that are following Costco. Now you're going to see who Costco is following. Okay, so maybe Costco is following World Market or something like that. Now you're going to go through World Market because they're probably going to be a similar brand to what you like. Okay, so for instance, Land of Nod, they're following a bunch of other child-oriented brands. And so if I have gone through Land of Nod, I've found some moms, and I want to branch into another group, I go to who Land of Nod is following, which is going to be other brands and influencers. And you have a whole nother group of people to interact with. So it's really just a chain. Like, you keep finding new, more and more people just by following, who everyone is following, if that makes sense. So that's what I've been doing on Instagram. I use the follow, unfollow method. There's some great trainings out there, about that. The National Wake Up Call just talked about that. I use the Cleaner app for Instagram to unfollow those people. Okay, so it's not a lot of extra work you have to do. So what you do is you find those moms, you find those people in your target market, you follow them, and then you use the Cleaner app for Instagram to unfollow them. Okay, so basically you want to keep your following number lower than your followers because it looks good. It makes you look like a brand, like an influencer. And so that's one great way to do it. So I'm speaking mostly on Instagram. There's great ways to do it on Facebook as well to find people in your market. I am also moving to Boise in the next coming months, and so I've been trying to find some people on Facebook that live in Boise. So I just search in the top bar, I search friends of friends who live in Boise, and it pops up with a giant list of people who live in Boise. Okay, so you can do the same thing with somewhere you want to travel. I did that before with Yosemite. I search people that live around Yosemite, and all you do is you message them and say, hey, this is super random, but I'm traveling up to Yosemite in the next, month or whatever, and I'd love some tips on, on the area or your experience. I saw you lived around there. Okay, it's not super weird. Most people reply back and say, oh yeah, of course. And then you start this really cool conversation with them. And there's tons of other things you can search on Facebook. It doesn't have to be travel. You can search other people who work, with your same company or anything like that. There's tons of options. Okay, so breaking it down now into how to speak to these people. And this is something I've really only crafted into my posts recently. But I did kind of come up with a great system. So I'm going to share with you. And this is basically, how to talk to people one-on-one in your messages, but also how to craft your posts. Because I used to be really terrified that, if I narrowed it down into a specific audience, that people would be uninterested. If I narrowed it so narrowly down into who I was speaking to, that everyone would somehow not be interested, or I'd miss out on people because I narrowed my language. But I'm realizing that if you keep your language so broad, no one's gonna click. It's not gonna make a difference to anybody because you're being so broad and you're not applying to anyone's specific life, right? So what I have done is I've kind of broken down some questions into the past, the present, and the future. When we talk about working with someone on their health and fitness, really what we're saying is, let me help you take your past with your present, your present situation, and turn it into a future, okay? Recently, I've loved the term lifestyle coach because we really do so much more than just health and fitness, right? Especially when you help someone through the coaching opportunity, you're doing so much more for their life, for their friendships, for their finances, than just health and fitness. So here's some questions that I've kind of broke down, and I want you to think about your audience, okay? If you think about these questions generally, it's not going to help you a lot. So I want you to think of who your audience is. Is it moms? Is it new college graduates? Is it someone who's trying to get off the postpartum weight? Is it someone struggling with a certain, medical condition? What are the people you want to work with? And how do these questions apply to them specifically? Okay. And then you're going to take those answers and you're going to start implementing them into your posts. So when we talk about the past, when we share our past in posts or in one-on-one conversations, I want you to ask yourself, if you're talking to a potential challenger, you're going to ask them, or you're going to ask yourself kind of what struggles got them here, okay? If they're a mom, did they struggle with postpartum weight? Did they struggle with, body dysmorphia postpartum? If they have an eating condition, was it something, psychological that got them here? Was it something in their past? What specifically got your target person, the person, your icon, your, target person, what got them here? What have they been doing so far for nutrition and fitness? Were they taking diet pills? Were they ignoring the situation? Oops, am I still here? Okay. Were they ignoring the situation? Were they, just eating the way they grew up eating? What have they been doing so far? Okay. If you're talking about a potential coach, what obstacles have they overcome in their past that would make them an excellent coach? Okay. Sharing a little bit about my past, I struggled with anxiety and depression, and through college, I gained like 30 to 40 pounds, partially because of polycystic ovarian syndrome, but also partially because I went through 5 losses in my family within 2 years. And so they were all separate and they were all crazy, and I just like lost myself through all of these deaths. And so it was hard for me to kind of get in that right mental space. And so if that's your target market, they're going to identify with you talking about that obstacle. So you can ask yourself, if you're thinking about a potential coach, someone who'd be awesome at coaching, what obstacles have they overcome? What skills have they developed? And what makes them unique? Okay. When I've spoke with potential coaches, one of their biggest things that makes them not want to coach is that they think that they're not made out for it. They think that they're not cut out, they can't do it, they don't have the skills. So when you invite them to coaching, or when you're posting something, if you touch on those skills that would make them awesome for it. Let's say that they were a photographer. I invite so many people to coaching that are photographers. And I'm like, your Instagram looks bomb. Like, your Instagram looks amazing. Like, you don't have to have experience in health or fitness. This is one thing that would make you an awesome lifestyle coach. You have such great skills in photography. And you can do that with anything. I have a list here that I came up with. Like, do they blog? Are they great at photography? Have they ever cared for others, like maybe a nurse or someone who's been in healthcare of some kind? Or maybe they just cared for like an elderly grandparent or something. Like any kind of experience caring for others. Were they a teacher? Did they have an experience where they had to go through something really gritty? Like maybe they just got their master's and they're like, dude, that was a lot of hard work. Okay, that's the same kind of thing that would make them successful at coaching. Do they just seem generally hardworking or approachable or helpful? Do they come up with great recipes? Are they great at cooking? Do they share, meals or workouts? Or are they just great at finding resources? Those are all things that I just came up with that list really quickly, but those are all things you can look for in people to say, this is why you'd be a great coach. Okay. So when you're crafting posts, talk about that. Maybe you have an experience in photography. Maybe you have an experience in one of these areas. Share it, and then, mention that those is taking photos, is, vlogging, is whatever that you want it to be. And okay, so that's kind of focusing on their past, these questions. Now you want to focus on their present. So as a challenger, what needs do they have currently, right? This is something we talk with challengers about before we recommend a pack to them. What are you looking to do? What kind of, weight loss do you want to see? That sort of thing. What does their lifestyle currently look like? So are they going to have to work out in the mornings? Are they going to work out in the evenings? People want to see how this health and fitness is going to fit into their life. So this is specific to your target market. If I'm talking to moms, I'm going to talk about how they're going to get that workout in while their kiddo's napping, okay, or at preschool. And they're going to do that meal prep with their family in the kitchen on Sundays, okay? So you really want to talk specifically to your target market. If you're talking to a potential coach about their present life or mentioning their present life, you want to talk about what their finances currently look like, okay? So really narrow down. Are they going, paycheck to paycheck? Do they, have enough to spend on organic food? Are they, what are they currently spending money on? Are they overdue on credit card bills? What does their finances look like? What does their employment look like? Are they trying to take on a side hustle? Are they working so much that they're like super overwhelmed? Okay. What do their current friendships look like? Are they a mom that's, at home all day and they don't have anyone to connect to and they need that bond? Or, maybe they're out all day and they come home and they want to relax. we'll talk about that. You know, I come home, I want to relax, and I have to sit on my phone, and I'm talking to other people, but I'm doing it in my pajamas. Like, make it fit what their situation is and talk about it. And going in kind of with their present objections. I don't know about you, but when I'm talking to potential coaches or challengers, there's two main objections I get. One is time, and the other is money. So I want you to think about how your target market currently uses their time and money. You want to, you know, share that you get what they're going through. You get that they're so tired that they don't think they can fit this in, or they're so, you know, busy that they're going to have to fit it in when they're sitting in the bathroom, you know, on their lunch break. Or you get that they're spending money on their, you know, child's soccer uniform and they can't afford this, but that this is an investment in their health, and it's going to make the whole family happier, better. It's going to, you know, infuse their life with more confidence. It's going to affect that kid too. And so really think about where your target market is using their time and money and why it would still benefit them, and speak narrowly to that. And then the last part is their future. And so you really want to paint a picture of what their future is going to look like if they invest with you in their health and fitness, or they trust you as a business mentor. And so when you're speaking to a challenger, what does their ideal body look like? Not everybody wants abs. Some people just want to feel confident again. Some people just want to, you know, have a little flatter tummy, not have the hanging arms, you know, whatever. Some people just want to break their soda addiction. Like, not everyone wants abs. And so you really have to, like, talk to that person. If I, as a mom, talk to people about, like, oh, look, invest with me in this next group and you're going to get shredded abs, like, no one's going to bite, because one, I don't have shredded abs, and two, that's not even what I want or what the people I'm talking to want. They're mostly moms who are like, I have 30 pounds extra baby weight and I just want to lose it. Like, they're not going to be in that headspace. So what is your headspace, and what is the target market's headspace? What is their confidence? You know, what does their ideal confidence look like? Their ideal mindset? Maybe even like family nutrition. So I personally am someone who I want to eat out sometimes. Like, that's part of our family culture. I want to eat out, but I don't want to feel like crap. And so when I'm talking to other moms, when I'm talking to other moms, I'm not going to say like, oh, follow this plan where you're not going to eat out for the next 6 months and you're going to deprive your family. And like, you want to speak positive words that are going to relate to them. And so I still share that yesterday I had a salad from Habit. Like, yeah, it's a salad. I would have got a burger, 6 months ago, but it's still like eating out. I know that the people I'm talking to are going to need to eat out sometimes. That's just life. They're crazy moms, right? Yeah, exactly. Moms need a night off of cooking. So that happens to me. It's going to happen to my target market. So I need to speak to it. And we were speaking about a potential coach's future. You want to talk about what kind of opportunities are going to be available to them. Maybe they don't need a full-time income. Like, just straight up, maybe they don't. Maybe they have a husband who loves his career. He's always going to work. He makes enough money. You don't need that full-time income. Okay, maybe they just want a side hustle. Maybe they do need that full-time income. Maybe their husband is deployed. Like, who are you speaking to, and what does their future look like? Or what do they want it to look like? What are they going to be able to purchase in their future that they would love to purchase? Maybe it's a new home. Maybe it's a Fitbit. Like, share what you are able to purchase and show them that they can do it too in their future. Do they want to retire themselves from their current job? Do they want to travel more? Just really break it down and think very narrowly about what their future possibilities are, because they're going to see that. They're going to see you traveling to Ohio or Mexico or wherever and think, oh, I could do that in a couple years. Like, that could be me. But if they're not into traveling, that post is going to flop. That's not going to go anywhere. So speak really narrowly to that. And so what I even did recently was I made a coaching application. When I talk to everyone, I don't share too much about the coaching opportunity. I direct them straight to that application. It was easy. I did it on Google Forms. And that way, that application speaks to my target market. I don't have to like go through all the motions and have this long conversation with everyone. I direct them to that application, and then a couple days later I say, hey, you know, what questions did you have about that application? Was it something that spoke to you? Be really real, be genuine, be open. And I'm going to do the same thing for a challenge group. My next challenge group that's launching, I'm creating an application. And that way you don't have to repeat yourself. That application speaks to them. And then you're left to handle all the other parts of your business and answer questions. So that's pretty much all I have prepared. Really, I do most of my, finding people in my niche on Instagram. It's just easier for me. And I do feel that, of course, it's possible on Facebook. But I feel that Instagram is just so much more open to like random friend requests and follows, than Facebook is. And with Instagram stories, I just feel like Instagram is a must. Like you need to get on there. You can keep your Facebook, of course. I still do work on Facebook, but I will tell you most of the day I'm on Instagram. So that's about it. All I have. Does anybody have any questions?
They're a quiet group, so don't take it personal.
No worries.
I like pull teeth to get them to chat over here. They all know it too. Look at them; they're all smiling. I loved this. There were so many little nuggets that just the way to think about things in like I think we all struggle with this, and our team is doing like a 30-day social challenge right now, and so we're just making sure everyone is posting to Instagram and to Facebook and making sure that they're adding, I've added it to my list of add 5 people on Facebook, but add, 10 new followers today on Instagram. Go follow 10 new people and comment and like and, do all that with that stuff. And this really, I think one of the biggest things that I took away was find those places like brands. Like, why would you not follow brands that you use?
I never thought to look at brands.
Following that. But then, I'm sitting here like at night is when I do like my connecting, or I'll just follow some people. And I was just sitting there, and that's what I did tonight. I found this like something being a mom, I don't know, being mommy like username. And so I clicked on that, and then there was a bunch of pregnant bellies. And so I clicked on a picture, and then I clicked on those likes, and I started just seeing who was out there, because I was searching hashtags earlier, and that was just like, I wanted to like explode. So like, this is annoying. Like trying to thumb through this, but doing it that way really just led me to people naturally that I was like, oh, I like her picture, or I like this, or okay, she likes this, so maybe we have something else in common. And so I loved that. That was a really good tip. And you're right. When I would go to these hashtags, like the top 9 would be photographers that were taking pictures of, pregnant, women or women who just had babies. And I'm like, well, I don't want you. I want you're taking pictures of.
Hashtags drive me nuts. I mean, when I started as an assistant for Meg, we used them back in 2013 maybe, and then it got so crowded from there that it's just impossible to find good people, but you can with the brands.
Yeah, like that was so much easier tonight doing it that way. I was like, there's like 100 people who like this. I can just go through this right here and, figure out. And I feel like you get a lot less coaches going through the followers today when I did it for like 10 minutes tonight versus the, 25, 30 minutes I tried to do this afternoon going through hashtags. So I was like, coach.
Yes, it's so saturated. All my ones, I'm like, you're all doing the same thing here. I didn't stop to look at the people who are liking those pictures. It's not the people who are using the hashtags. It's the people who are liking the pictures that are hashtagged. I wasn't going that like second step. And I was like, that makes sense.
So even if we do nothing else with your call, Amber, that one thing was like, but we are like as a team just really trying to get on the Instagram wagon and trying to like utilize that. And, you know, I've really been trying since December, just posting daily and being on Instagram stories. And I haven't sold a single thing from Instagram really, but I feel more connected to my challengers. I feel like I'm getting that following. And, you know, Meg's finally just at that point, 6-7 months into her consistently posting and using it smart. You know, I've been using Instagram, but I haven't been active on Instagram myself, if that makes sense. So that stood out to me. And then the other thing that I really liked was highlighting the skills and unique of coach prospects before you even really like ask them about coaching or hear like I think I wrote it in there, like just uplifting them without them even knowing it.
Yeah. So I adopted this from Meg, but what I do now is I go to like maybe 10 people's pages on Instagram, which is super quick and easy to find when you use it, you know, when you find them that way. You go to their Instagram, you see like 1 or 2 positive things about them. You say, hey, you know, hey, Kathy, this is super random. I'm in love with your Instagram. Your photography is beautiful. Are you a coach too? Right. Super easy.
And it just opens up. And I've been doing that. There's a girl, I think I asked her if she's a coach. I can't remember. But her food photos are so amazing. And she's so fun. I love following her on Instagram. And I'm like chicken to ask her to be a coach. Like I can't like do it. I don't know what is going on. I think what's in my head is I'm like, she's got to be asked before. And that's such a limiting belief. Like, you don't know that, you know? But it really was kind of that aha moment because I had it today. I was like, oh, I just need to do it. And even if she is and she says no, big deal, right? But to your point of, you know, like, you're doing what I'm doing. Like, you would make an excellent coach. Like, do you, like, what? You know, like, you just need to ask those questions and, you know, get over yourself and ask if they ever considered it. I'm trying to think of what else. I have like 2 little pages of notes here. And then I also liked when you were talking about their present, you know, because I was in that niche of I didn't need this business financially at the time. And, you know, that was 5 years ago. Matt had a great job. We just had kids. I barely made anything at my fitness job before. So, you know, our goal was just to cover some babysitting money. And now fast forward 5 years, and thank God that God knew what we would need in 5 years, because if I didn't have this right now, life wouldn't be so great. And it would be a little bit difficult because Matt's career has taken a different path than we were planning on. And so I'm in the middle of trying to figure out how to speak to my stay-at-home mom niche of, you know, you don't know what can happen in 4 years or 5 years, but like, what would happen if you just started doing something you love now? And, you know, because it was the same, my mom and dad did the same thing. My dad ended up getting laid off. My mom was halfway through nursing school, and she's been the breadwinner ever since. Like, it was super crazy. But just a whole different like angle of my niche of stay-at-home moms and trying to figure out how to speak to that. And I think there's a few more ladies on the call that can kind of relate to that of, you know, life's not always what you anticipate it to be when you started coaching or, you know, going into that. But I liked those questions of, you know, what finance, like presently, what are finances, but what can you provide for the future?
Right.
And not being afraid to post about that. Because finances can be tricky. Anybody else have takeaways, questions?
Hey Amber, any chance, I'm just like super visual and can usually tweak them to make them my own once I see them. Would you be willing to share that application or even like a couple examples of questions that you asked? I would just love to see it and like wrap my brain around it. But
Like,
I'm not gonna like take it.
See the app and unfollow people, or
No, the application you use for potential coaches.
oh yeah, I can share that.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I'll send it to Brittany.
And I just want to say, so I have lupus, and I've been trying to get people, you know, engaged with me with autoimmune diseases, and it's been like such a struggle because I run into so many people that don't want to change their lifestyle. So you just talking about that you're looking specifically for moms who've already started trying to change their lifestyle, it blew my mind. It's amazing. I don't know why I couldn't think of that on my own, but I really appreciate it. It was awesome.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I found really early when I started working with PCOS women that there were a lot of people who were just negative Nancy's.
Yeah.
And not only was it my words not helping them, but I also just felt like it was bringing me down.
Yeah, it's exhausting. Yes.
Energy. And I was just talking with a couple other coaches about it today. But what I do is I usually have 1 or 2 conversations with them where I'm like, okay, like tough love. Let's see if I can help, like some encouragement. And then once that 1 or 2 conversations are over, I'm like, I'm not the right person to help you. Like maybe another time, another person, but not right now and not me.
Awesome.
I love that. I love, maybe you guys can connect, but I want to wrap this up before it ends. Thank you, Amber. Really appreciate it. I'll have the recording for you guys